So I am joined by Stuart Pearce. He is a let's call you a sales guru because you are.
Oh no,
You
we
are.
know we don't like that one, Ryan.
Okay, all right. A sales master. A sales master.
That's marginally better. Okay.
We'll go for it. A sales master. He's been through. He's been through. How long have you been in the sales industry?
25 years.
Okay, so a very
As
long
a trainer, probably about 18, 20 years from that.
Okay, so a very long time. Publisher of books. In fact, he's got this one which I have, Life on the Phone, among
I've
others.
got that one.
Yeah.
The other one's around here somewhere.
Yeah, loads. Very, very, very good books. I can't recommend them enough. Very insightful.
Thank you, mate.
You're welcome. And yeah, it was great to have you here.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
We're going to talk about things to do with sales, business today. That's going to be the main topic. We had we both posted a Q&A on our social media platforms.
Yeah, a little bit concerned about some of those questions.
Which quite a few people answered. Stuart is very well known within the sales and business community and goes to a lot of, what should I say, speaks at a lot of talks and stuff like that. So very, very, very knowledgeable. So first, Stuart, if we can get you to talk about how you came to the position you are now,
okay, yeah.
And then we'll get into the questions.
Okay, so I'll do the short version for you.
Yep.
I actually left school, went into printing, because that was kind of, that was the whole, get a career and leave school kind of thing. And then was constantly told that, dare I say it, with a goblet mine, I should be in sales. So I thought, well, let's give it a go then, So I ended up in sales, doing telesales. Turns out I quite liked it because didn't have to shave, never left the office. Great, And again, back then, you remember that the vision of a salesman back then was some middle-aged, overweight guy in a pinstripe suit living in his car. Not an overly inviting, career model. So I stuck with telesales and kind of worked up through the ranks, ended up managing sales teams, and did a bit of training. In fact, I'll tell you exactly how I got to be from managing to being a trainer. I was managing a team of about 25 telesales people. We're doing really well for a couple of years. MD gets a trainer in for one afternoon. I think, great, I can get some work done without being interrupted. 3-4 hours later, the girls come out of this sort of training session with this guy, and the boss says, "Oh, how was it?" I said, "Yeah, it was all right." She went, all right. For $2,000, I want bloody fireworks," kind of stuff, This man, the man's a god. So they're like, "Well, yeah, it was good, but he didn't tell us anything that Stu doesn't tell us every day."
Yeah.
And I went, and then I went, hang on, I'm doing 6.5 days a week and doing about $2,000 a month. He's done that in an afternoon. One of us has mug on his forehead, and I don't think it's him. That was kind of my launch of it. Do you know what? I can do this. And I started off as a trainer. Since then, I've trained blue chips, one-man bands, everywhere from Hong Kong, Dubai, London, Cape Town, you name it. So I've trained people across the globe to do this stuff right. Sales is really easy once you understand it. Once you understand the rules of the game and the boundaries and things you can and can't do and should and shouldn't say, then you're away. And it's a great way. It's one of those jobs where, one of the very few jobs where actually you are rewarded by your own efforts, which is, the commission's the bonus. If you put a lot of effort in and do really well, you get more money. That's why most people go into sales. So that's kind of how I ended up at this end of it. 3 books later, trained people across the globe and speaking at events, all the stuff you talked about. That's how I ended up here. Easy, really.
Yeah, it's great. For those people who are in sales, or for those people who are entrepreneurs and stuff like that, would the simple message be, don't look for the quick fix? Because if you've been in the industry for God knows how, not to make you feel old, but near 30
years. Let's not go on about it, Ryan, right?
Would the advice be to just trust the process and run your own race, kind of thing?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because we're all different. And it's like, as you know, I train people day in, day out, and some people have done a bit of sales. I actually had one guy in a training session a couple of years ago now, been allowed out for a while. And you always get that one guy when you're training sales. There's always that one guy who wants to prove he's still the man, sort of thing, you know.
Yeah.
And this guy said something to me, and I went, okay, and because I never fight back to that, it's not worth it, you know. I was like, okay, it's fine, you know, crack on. And I kind of want to go, yeah, but if you were that good, I wouldn't be here. But you know, we'll leave that.
Yeah.
And this guy, he turns around to me and he goes, oh yeah, I've seen Wolf of Wall Street. I know it all works. I went, all right, and sell me this pen. And it just absolutely fits a lot of everybody else, you know, and it just kills it dead, you know. But actually, I said just now, you know, sales it's a game. Once you understand the game and the way that works, it's a lot easier. So there was a thing I was taught when I first started selling. Once you get your first sale, remember what you said and keep saying it, because it worked once, it'll work again. And the problem people have with sales when they first start out is, one, it's not really what they want to do. Most people who start a business don't do it to go and sell it to other people. They do it because they are passionate about it, or they enjoy it, or they're good at it, whatever else it might be. Yeah. They don't, and then they suddenly realize, oh, I better sell this to people, because selling to friends and family only gets you so far. At some point, you're talking to people you don't know, and that's where the panic kicks in. That's where the whole can't sell, won't sell book came from. People I spoke to somebody, a client a while ago, where she was the kind of lead designer for 5 years. They did a management buyout, and then suddenly she was the MD. It was at that point she realized there isn't a work fairy that just appears this stuff on a desk. Someone's got to go and get it and sell it. And that's it. People don't like. You will see them. They'll kind of start through their little rapport building, chat, and then they go, right, I've got to pitch you now. And that's I hear the deep breath almost, you know, and it's the worst you can do. The whole thing should be one conversation. But yes, if you're just starting out, sales in the process it is now has worked for hundreds of years, more years than I've been training it, you know, it still works. And I some people will tell you I'm not a massive fan of this whole think outside the box phrase, because the stuff that's been working for 20, 30, 50 years still works if you do it properly. If you start going out of the box, you become too niche, then you struggle. Just an opinion. But yes, I would say to anybody starting out in terms of sales, just trust the process. Once you've built a process that works for you, because you'll sell differently to me, right? So the process that I fit for my business won't necessarily work for yours, because you might be comfortable with certain parts of it. So yes, trust the process once you've got a process that you like and works for you. Make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It sounds like you have to tailor it to your certain business, but like anything, there's principles involved that, you know, as long as you start with the principles, and as time goes on, you just become more efficient at delivering those principles.
Yeah, absolutely.
People just try and reinvent the wheel a lot.
Well, look at it in your own kind of industry. You've been training for years. When was the last time when you went training, you thought about what you had to do? Yeah, you just go, I'm going training, and you kind of almost instinctively know what bits to train on. You don't turn up every time and go, oh right, I want to train my arm, so what should I do? You know, you've done it for so long, you know what to train on. You don't have to think about how you do it. You just do it. It's the same with sales, same with your business. Once you've done it long enough, it becomes a habit. It's called, hang on, unconscious competence. It means you don't think about it, you just do it. There's a thing, I can't do the whole thing for you, but it's like, I'll say to people, well, let's say you drove to the shop this morning, and I said to you, how many junctions did you stop at? And you'll go, I don't know. Because you've been driving for 10 years, you don't even think about it, you just do it. When's the last time driving your car you thought about having to put the clutch down to change gear? It's instinctive. You've done it that long. That's called unconscious competence. And that's the point you'll get to, and that you'll be comfortable with when you know what you're doing, you've done it so often, the process is there, you followed it, it works, all happy, yeah? That's the bit you're after.
Yeah, that makes a lot.
And there's actually 4 stages, but I shan't bore you with the other 4. People can look it up.
Yeah, I like how you tweaked it to my industry as well, which is the fitness industry. But there's a lot.
But that's the difference, mate. Sorry to interrupt. That's the difference between a good trainer and just a trainer. When I've said it, obviously, you know, Ben Catton, we've had this conversation lots of times, me here and I. And I will say to him, you know, when I go and deliver a training session to a sales team, it's not about me. It's not about me going, I'm this great trainer, you should listen to me. the point of it is that if we're, by the time I finish that session with them, they should know what I know.
Yeah.
So I already have the knowledge.
Mm.
My job as a trainer, or sort of a good trainer, is to put that knowledge into their heads so they can use it this afternoon.
Yeah.
It's not about me showing how wonderful I am.
Yeah.
I already know how wonderful I am.
Yeah. Someone's got to say it. It's about being selfless with the knowledge and experience that you've gained.
But it's like with this, when you ask me, I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
Quite happy to do this, because the way I look at it is, if a couple of people can get a good bit of tidbit from what we're going to say over the next however long, and that works for them, then I'm happy.
Mm.
That's a bonus as far as I'm concerned,
Yeah, exactly. It's just it baffles me why people feel the need to reinvent the wheel. But I guess everyone's looking for that, 5 minutes of fame, or that quick fix or something like that. But that's
so we almost get conditioned to have to change things, don't we?
Yeah.
Current environment we live in, everything's now.
Mm.
We almost get conditioned to, well, I must have to do it differently.
Yeah.
Well, no, because I still teach stuff that I taught when I was started 20 years ago.
Mm.
There's a thing called AIDA, which is a way to set up your pitch. And I see so many times lately with, it's out of date now. No, it's not. It still works. I still teach it. It still works, because it's really simple to understand.
Mm.
I could put that in front of anybody. In fact, most of my clients have seen it, because it's a really simple, easy way to get the process. I still do it now. When I'm having a conversation, I'll still do that when I'm pitching to people, And to about thinking out the box and being new, if I'm quoted correctly, and I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the first time that AIDA was used was like 1856.
Mm.
So it's been working for a while, Ryan,
Yeah. It's simple.
It's the way we're conditioned, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's like your industry. How many new and improved versions of getting fit and losing belly fat have there been in the last 3 years?
Yeah.
About 20 probably.
Yeah.
But actually, there's a joke in our house, because I've been persuaded that we're supposed to get fit and healthy this year. So my other half has bought a Joe Wicks training, a workout video. Let's not talk about that. But it's really simple. If you want to lose weight and get fit, get off the sofa and stop eating rubbish.
Yeah.
You can have all the newfangled bits you want. And sales is the same. Sales is about doing your job properly and doing it well. People don't mind being sold to. They just want to be sold to properly.
Yeah.
Not some haphazard approach. So your industry is mine. With sales, once you understand the process, repeat that process, it'll work. It has done for 50 years. And the same in your industry. You want to get fit and healthy, stop eating donuts and get off the sofa.
Yeah.
Take a walk. The basics are always, the amount of times I've gone into class and said, right, let's just go back to basics. I don't care if the guy's been at 10 years or 10 months. Let's get them right at the same start point. Let's make sure they understand the basics. Then that's our foundation to build on. And I know for a fact in your industry with the fitness, it's the same. It's no good doing 100 press-ups a day if you're not doing them right.
Yeah.
It's going to get you nowhere. It's no point charging to sales. You need to make sure you're doing it right first. I'll stop preaching a second, mate. Sorry.
No, I really appreciate it. It's nice to have someone on the same wavelength to say, and in a completely different industry or field, to say, look, you can have whatever kind of, let's talk about in my industry, you can have whatever kind of diet you want. The principles will always stay the same. And with sales, the principles always stay the same. Someone's just put a new flashy coat of paint on it and said, here you go, something new.
Yeah.
And it's people like new flashy things, and
that's because we're conditioned to think it's better.
Yeah.
We are conditioned to think that new is better.
We're going to go straight into the questions. That was a nice little rant, which I
have my soapbox now, mate. So
I did enjoy it. I think the quote of the I think the caption of this Q&A should literally be with what you just said, where it is, people don't mind being sold to as long as they're sold to properly.
Yeah.
I think that's like the thing that we should say, because I like that.
It is. Yeah, definitely, without a doubt.
Okay, so first question.
Far away.
How do you promote yourself in a 1-minute Zoom pitch? So I'm guessing this is within
Like the networking stuff then.
a networking,
Okay,
a
cool.
networking environment.
Thank you. That's a really easy one to start with, right? So firstly, be clean and clear when you speak. Yeah. Secondly, don't make sure that if you both of us now, we're head and shoulders, it looks but even now, a year into people using Zoom, I still see foreheads and keypads and I don't know what else. So just make sure people can see you.
Yeah.
And I always take a minute to look at back, right, okay, like we joked about, we all work in our back bedroom, right? Well, put the bed away, it's all that sort of stuff. So make sure that the picture you've got of you looks sensible.
Professional.
Speak clearly, speak precisely. And there are 4 things they want to know: who you are, what you do, how it benefits them, and how to get hold of you. That's all they want. So the way you get that across, it's nice and cleanly. My other half tells me off because I'm working from home, but I speak loudly when I'm on Zoom to make sure it gets across clearly. And she says she can hear every word in the next room. Well, now you know. So I try and be quieter, but it never works. So I get all excited about it, as Ben will have told you. I get all excited and the noise goes up. But it means that I make sure that what I'm saying gets across people. Because you've got to think as well that their speakers may not be as good as yours. They could have things in the background. So, raise your voice a little bit, speak cleanly and clearly, get across who you are, what you do, how it helps people, how they can get hold of you. I had a client who does the kind of, she does social media stuff, which I'm rubbish at. And she says to me, well, what if I give you more hours in your day, more days in your week? And I love that line. And we were talking in the first session we did. She said, I think, right, that's it. That's what we're building on. So we took that line and we built her whole process around that line. Because the next bit was, so Ryan, if I, more hours in a day, more days a week, what if I could give you an extra 3 days a month? What could you do with that? And it was like, that's the line. That's the line. We build on that. So we took that one line and built her whole sales process around that. But said in a way that she was comfortable with.
Yeah.
So in her 1-minute round, that's how she starts off. People do use these taglines and the little cheese line at the end, and that's great. Whatever floats your boat. But make sure that the line you use is going to stick in someone's head. There's a thing called last heard, first remembered, which fairly obviously means the last thing I say to you is the first thing you're going to remember. So she goes, blah, 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 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. And remember, I can give you more hours in your day, more days in your week. Done. And she stops at that. Because no matter what she did, remember that line. And it's a good line. Yeah? So when you're doing your 1 minute, be clean, precise, get those 4 things across, and you'll be pretty good.
Awesome. I've done a few in my limited networking experience, and it's one of those things where it's like, okay, right, I know what I'm going to say. I know what I'm going to say. As soon as it's your turn, it's just like, oh crap.
Giving headlights,
yeah. So, but I guess like anything, it's one of those things where you just practice makes perfect. Just keep doing it. But yeah, no, I like that. Last heard,
first remembered. So the last thing you say to them is the first thing they remember.
I like that. Okay. So next question: best way to respond to a no from a potential customer?
Okay, that's not as easy to answer because it depends when the no comes.
Yeah.
So if it's hello, my name's Stuart, and the answer is no, then not going to much with that. Yeah. So I'm assuming they mean at the end of their pitch when they've had a little chat and the person said no. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's
okay, use. So let's assume it. So the way you get out of that is by avoiding it in the first place, and the way you do that is you build value in your proposition. So the way you talk to them adds value. So one way to do that is to build up your offering, your service, or your product in such a way that they think it's, for example, worth £2,000. They think that's what's going to cost them. So when they ask you the price and you say it's 1,500, they're like, oh, well, that's good. Because in their mind, it was £2,000. When you come in less, they've got £2,000 worth of value in their head. When you come in at 1,000 or 1,500 or less than that value they've perceived because of the way you've pitched it, there's no argument then. The other thing that salesmen won't do, I'm generalizing, not all of them does it, but lots of salesmen, when the client says no, they give in, get deflated, oh, okay, and they'll walk away, almost physically. Yeah. Do not. First piece of advice for today: do not be afraid to ask them why. If they're saying no, you've very possibly missed something, or you've not answered a question they had properly or to their satisfaction. There was a running joke when I was first starting out where, and back then, Christ, lots of people, it was a case of, yeah, all right, case of, there was field sales, there was internal sales or telesales, and telesales booked appointments for field sales. That's kind of how it was back then. And God, and what happened was, so I've made you an appointment. If you go to the appointment and you sell it, you're a great salesman. If you don't sell it, I made you a bad appointment. God forbid it was your fault. But generally, all I can do, I can get you in the room. I can't do it for you. If you didn't get that sale, you missed something. One thing lots of people are worried about doing is looking at themselves for the answer. Now, remember I said before, when I got my first sale, my manager said, right, remember what you said, I keep saying it. He said the same thing. So when you don't get a sale, look at why you didn't. Try and work out in your mind why you didn't get that sale. And it will probably be because you said something wrong, you misheard an answer, you didn't get enough value. If there's a no, there's a line in the film Boiler Room where Ben Affleck says, on every call a sale is made. The difference is who makes a sale. Is it you as a salesman, or is it the client's sale by telling you why they don't want to do it? But on every call a sale is made, and every meeting a sale is made. So your job as a salesperson to make sure they have enough information and they have enough perceived value, because obviously until they've got it, they can't see the value. At this point, it's perceived value. And so the way you pitch it gives them enough value in their mind. They think, wow, that's £5,000 worth, I reckon. That's what he's going to say. And when you say 1750, please, they're like, well, how many can I have? Because the value you gave was bigger than the cost. Another tip, there's two things, cost and price. So the price is how much you write on the check, the physical amount of pound notes. The cost is what it costs you for not doing it or not having it. You with me? So it's the reason you get a no is if you don't build enough value, or you've not listened and you've not worked out what their problem is and therefore what you got to fix. Fire on the next question then, kiddo.
Fire on the next question. All right. So next question. What's the worst way you've come across with a sale? So worst approach.
Okay. Yeah.
And what's the best approach you've used that you've come across?
Okay. I don't know that there's one particular one I can pick on. So I'll be fairly generic in the answer, in that the best way to do it, to get a good sale, is to have a conversation. Have a conversation with your client, find out what their problems are, see how you can fix them, and go from there. Yeah, I said it before. Don't have that. We're all told, oh, build rapport, build rapport, build rapport. And yes, you've got to do that. But do we really think, if we're going to be sensible, that someone's going to part with their money because you asked how the weather was and whether on holiday? Let's be simple. They're not, are they? So it's more about, but they know about their business. So have a conversation. Your correct approach is to have a conversation about their business, the problem they're facing, and ideally what you've got will fix that problem for them or make it more efficient and more cost effective or whatever else it is. The worst approach is to not listen at all. So many times I see it with salesmen, they have it in their head, I've got to get my pitch out. I had a guy in Melksham was doing a call center over there, and he did with the fantastic word for word perfect pitch. And then he went, hello, hello, hello. Because he was so focused, so blinkered, if you like, on getting his pitch out, he didn't realize the guy put the phone down and gone like 5 minutes ago. So there's the worst one for you. Yeah. Just not listening and firing through your pitch and hoping for the best. That's never going to work. The best approach is to have a conversation with your prospective client. Simple as that.
Awesome. I like that. Simple, efficient, done.
Well, if you're not having a conversation, how are you going to find out what they need?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it ain't rocket science, Ryan. You know, you ask the question, wait for the answer.
Yeah. Literally.
Sales is actually, like I said, once it's a game. Once you understand the rules of the game and the process, it's really easy. You'll just keep doing it again and again and again. There's a people often say about, you know, it's playing the numbers, play the averages, and yes, it is. I used to have an argument, continuing argument with an old sales director of mine, and he used to say practice makes perfect. And I said, well, no, it doesn't. Because if you're doing it wrong, when how often you practice it, it's still wrong.
Yeah.
So the idea is, it was almost like perfect practice makes perfect. So get it right first, get your process, get your approach, know that you can do it, then it's just practice makes perfect.
Mm.
And it's got to be the same with your industry, you know, get the exercise right first. Okay, I can do one press up, but it's a really good, clean, solid press up that you can build on.
Mm.
Sales is the same. Understand the process, understand what you're doing, then build on it. Then it's practice makes perfect.
I like that. Yeah, I like that again. Coming out with all these gems, mate.
There's a reason I've got 3 books and 20 years of this, mate.
Okay, so on to the next question. This person who sent this question is struggling with motivation and asked, how do you deal with negativity and uncertainty during this time?
Right. So first things first, let's ignore the this time thing. Because in 20 plus years of doing this, there will always be negativity around sales and business and people. It's just human nature. So let's take out the whole, we're in a pandemic, oh good Lord. Yes, we are. But when we come out of it, there'll still be negativity. Before we went into it, there's negativity. So motivation is a personal choice. It's a personal thing. So I can't say to you, oh yeah, do this, this is what I do, you'll be great. Because it may not work for you. When I was a tiny bit younger, it would be up early in the morning, go for a 3, 4, 5 mile run, come back, shower, suit on, I'm ready to go now. Not so easy anymore. Early mornings to me are not the biggest fan anymore. So it's something else. I joked from the day that, yeah, for me, motivation is a good cup of tea and marmite on toast. That's getting you started the day now, you know. The other motivation is I'm quite lucky, and as I have a wonderful partner who will not let me sit on my butt and do nothing. I've got no chance of sitting back and going, great.
Yeah.
No, she'll elevate the chores. That'll be it. So I'm really lucky in that. So what motivates you is personal to every single person, different for all of us. So I'd love to say, yes, to be motivated, you need to do these 3 steps and you'll be fine. I can't do that because human nature kicks in. We're all different. You know, what motivates you, what motivates me, and vice versa. So motivation is about finding that thing. I don't care if it's a bit of music. If you've got to get them on and hit that bit of music first, get you started. Yeah, whatever works. So actually staying motivated rather, is about what gets you started and keeps you going. Yeah, there will always be negativity, and it's easy to go, I'll ignore it. And sometimes it is easy. Sometimes it's not. You know, depends where you are. So motivation is a weird thing. It's a bit of a grey area because the one thing won't work for everyone. I mean, you know, one thing might work for lots of people, but not for everyone. So it's about being motivated, about finding. And in sales, it's quite an easy one to do in sales. 99.9% of salespeople will get a bonus for being successful. So the thing is, and one thing I've done in the past with sales teams, going, right, what do you want? Why are you doing a sales job? You know, what do you spend your bonus on? And is there anything from a car to a holiday to whatever? So, okay, so let's say you're in sales, you're doing your job because you're saving for a holiday, or you're saving for a house, or whatever it is. Great. Get a picture of the place you're going to go on holiday to, or the car you want to buy, and stick it on your desk. And work out that car is, let's say, £10,000. And you get, for example, £250 per sale. So work out 250 into 10,000. Not doing math, that's too hard for someday. And how many sales is it to get your 10,000? And then write that number in your desk in front of you. And if it's 50, we'll say, then every time you get a sale, mark it down. Always down. Don't mark the number up, always mark it down. It's a psychological thing. If you see the number building, you think it becomes harder. You see the number getting less, So 50, 40, see that am I coming down? It feels easier. Yeah. Another tip for you there: always bring your target down, not up. It just fits nicer. So you've worked out, I want 10,000 for this car. I want it's £250 per sale. That's blah blah amount of sales. Right now I know what I've got to do, how motivated I've got to be, how many sales I've got to do per day, whatever it is, to get what I want. Now you've got a goal. Most people with a goal are motivated, regardless. Yeah, it's like, guys, you must know, want to lift a certain weight. You don't go from 5 kgs to 50 kgs in one lift. You break your back for a start. You build up. You do 5, then you do 10, then you might jump to 20. You build up to that. It's the same with anything like that. But if you are in sales and you have a goal, you know what you're doing this for, that's more likely to keep you motivated. Because every sale you get gets you closer to that car or that holiday or that wedding dress or whatever else it is. Yeah. Do you know what? Shake it. And it's easy when to say, "Oh, just shake it off and get on with it." It's easy to hear saying that. But actually, if you've got a reason behind why you're doing it, that tends to help. Yeah. It's not just I need to pay the rent and I want that thing. And the more I do this, the closer I get to that. It's a A-B thing, Yeah. And I'm not good for 1 second, and I need to say, for 1 second, say that will work for everyone. As I said, motivation is a personal thing. That used to work for me. When I was in sales, it was like, right, I wanted this, that, or the other. It's that many sales over that amount of week. Right, now I know what I've got to do. And if I hit that, I'm happy, Teddy. I said it right at the start. There is no one thing that will motivate everyone. It's just not possible. Yeah. Human nature kicks in, right? Yeah. Yeah. But there are a few things you can play with. So you give yourself a goal and put a picture of that car you want, excuse me, up on the side. If I leant forward, you'd see an Aston Martin model on the windowsill behind me. That's why it's there. Yeah. Yeah. And it's that. So that works for me. Well, not for everyone, but it's that, it's find a reason to do it. Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Find a reason. I like that. Okay. On to the next question. What does relationship building look like when prospecting in the new normal? I'm assuming that means with a potential client or potential customers. Yeah. So building a relationship in a sales environment hasn't changed. Yeah. Just because we are in a lockdown or a pandemic, I know what I've been just as busy the last month as I was the previous 12 months. Yeah. All egos aside, and not we all know I'm good at what I do, but actually it could have easily affected me to anybody else. Yep. Yeah. I just chose not to let it. I just kept going. And when I did, I think you were at one of the speaking events I did, and I said, the only way to get past this is to trade out of it, to keep going as best you can until we see some light. Yeah. So building a relationship is still the same. I'm not a fan of this whole new normal phrase, but actually building a relationship is still the same. Doesn't matter. Just be more aware of what the situation people are in, obviously. So you can't kind of charge in, headlong bullet transfer anymore because people have outside issues going on that are not they're doing, But actually, you still build a relationship the same way, whether we're in a pandemic or we're not. It's still about having that conversation, finding out what is there. People who are new to sales and those who've been in it for a while need to remember, very rarely will I meet you for the first time and sell to you, because you don't even know me yet. Yeah. 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 You don't know me, and probably don't trust me. I don't mean to, you have to build that trust and that credibility, and that is necessary whether we're in a new normal or not. People, I do this kind of jokingly when I do sales training. People say, right, show of hands, how many of you would buy from somebody, unless your life depended on it, would you buy from someone you don't like? Yeah. You rarely see a hand go up. Oh, yeah. Because we like to buy people that we like. Yeah. Human nature again. Unless, your life dependent, then you might change your mind. But normally, normal circumstances, we don't have that, So the relationship is built the same way. It's trust, it's credibility, it's professionalism. It's all those things are still in place. It's just about being more aware of the situation people might be in because of the current environment. That's the only difference. The relationship is still built the same. The relationship is still, or a sale is still built on trust, credibility, and professionalism. Simple as.
I like that. Okay, on to the next question. It kind of ties into the one we just had.
Okay.
What's the best way to reach out to potential customers and companies when everyone is working from home and they don't want to use social media?
Okay. Telepathy.
The big thing in there is they don't want to use social media.
Okay.
Which kind
of do we know who asked that question?
We do, but we'll keep it anonymous.
I don't think I like them anymore. Whoever they are. Okay. Right. So you still want to get older people. They're working from home, and we don't want to use social media. Okay. That really limits us.
Yeah.
Because most sales processes with most people are now involve some sort of social media. So the easiest way to get over that hurdle to start with, and I don't think we can class email as a social media, is to send them an email. Yeah. Because whether you're working from home, from work, or in a car park, you're still going to get your email. Mine goes to my phone.
Yeah.
And the computer, but it goes to my phone as well, wherever I am. Yeah. So my answer to that is email is your first port of call. Because yes, they're working from home, and although you will find with a lot of data, as you imagine, with being in call centers, I see a lot of data, and you'll find that actually people very often put their mobile phone number as their first contact number these days.
Yeah.
It's changed from 20 years ago when you got one or two mobiles.
Yeah.
I remember being in call centers, the one in Melksham. What's the mobile? Shall I ring it? Well, yeah, because you've got 6 in a night.
Yeah.
Now you get 6 landlines, and so people will often put, if you've got data, people will often put their mobile number as their first contact number these days. Yeah. So that gets to the working from home thing, but as does email. And the email conversation you have is trying to get them to agree to a conversation, take it offline as soon as possible. But if you can't use social media and they don't have their home number, then email's your answer. It's the only thing left.
Yeah, I can imagine the process of building a relationship with the potential customer would be exactly the same. It would be you've got, by not using social media, you've given yourself more hurdles to jump through, I guess.
It's like when you get, I'm sure you've seen as well, I get them a lot. You get these LinkedIn messages from somebody after you connect. You go, okay, you click yes sort of thing, and the next message from them is a sales pitch.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, hang on, don't know yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're doing it, if you only got email to work with, don't go from step 1 to 7. You've got to do 2 to 6 first.
Yeah.
And it might be giving them something for free and all that sort of, So you've still got to have the conversation, but the difference is it's the written word. And the written word can be dangerous if you're not thinking what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the written word is when I read an email, I read it in my head, not yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're going to do that in terms of sales, make sure you really word carefully what you're going to say. If I've ever done it, I always write it, put it to draft, and come back to it later.
Yeah.
Make sure it still sounds sensible. Because it can be misinterpreted so easily or perceived differently by the other person on the other end so easily. Just be very careful how you word what you're going to say if you've only got email. That's the advice on that bit.
Yeah, it's like texting. Sometimes you can text someone and say, oh, okay, like that text came across a bit passive aggressive, but you ask them and they're like, no, genuinely meant nothing from it.
My son always goes, that's what emojis are for, Dad.
Yeah.
It doesn't help me at all. I don't know what half of them mean, man.
Yeah. So this one is from a fellow personal trainer. He asked, what is the best advice you could give someone who is in the fitness industry and is a PT?
You mean in terms of speaking to a new client?
Yeah, so it would be, because this obviously talking about sales, it would be gaining new prospective potential clients.
I'm with you. So it's the same as anything else in sales. You are selling yourself.
Yeah.
So let's say it's you, right? So you meet a new client, you're going to sell you to them first. So you're going to find out why they're talking to you, why they've come to you, what problem they've got. Yeah, it's I'm too slow, I'm too fat, I'm too whatever else it is. Yeah. Then they want to know that you're the right person for them. So whatever you say dictates that. And then you can say, well, look, I know you want to lose some weight, get faster, lift, or whatever else it is. And then you would offer a couple of ideas as to how that might work. What that boils down to is you're having a conversation with them.
Yeah.
Remember, right at the start, I said the best way to do a sale is have a conversation. Doesn't matter what the industry is. Obviously, the way I might do it is different conversation you're going to have with somebody, or a pitch you can have with a prospective client. Different conversation. It's a more personal and emotional conversation, because they've come to you because they've got this problem. They've got a big belly, or they've got a whatever, it's like, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's quite personal to them. It's an emotional conversation. But it boils down to the same thing. If you want someone to come on your side and come with you and let them train you, then have a conversation with them about what they want. I would also say, don't be afraid to go, do you know what? I don't think I'm the guy for you.
Yeah.
Two things will happen there. They'll respect you hugely for having enough to say that. Secondly, they might go, why do you think that? And then you've got a chance to go, well, I think this is, and you'll find that actually, if you say to me, I'm not sure I'm the right guy for you, the right girl for you, you'll possibly find they'll come back to you and go, well, why do you think that? I think, well, why, and that gives you a chance to really kind of build on what they've got. If they say to you, oh, okay, then walk away, then you didn't give enough of that perceived value we talked about in the first place.
Yeah.
But if you did give enough value, enough expertise, and built enough credibility, and then you go, do you know, I'm not sure we're the right fit, and they come back to you, that sale's yours.
Yeah.
100%, that sale's yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
don't have to convince anymore.
In fact, if you want to be technical in sales, that's what's called a takeaway.
Yeah.
They used to do it back in the 80s, when even I wasn't working, and they'd say, even I missed that one. Where Glengarry, Glenos, all those, and they'll talk about the takeaways. And well, maybe you're not the right client for us. What? Because nobody wants to be told they're not the right person for this, or it may not be for them.
Yeah.
Because we all want to be in the club.
Yeah.
You tell someone that I'm not sure you're the right fit for this gym, they'll do whatever they can, move hell or high water to make sure they are the right person.
Yeah.
They ain't never leaving you then.
Yeah.
But if you do that and you build that perceived value, you have to make sure you deliver.
Yeah.
There is a whole under promise over deliver phrase. But whatever and the one thing that frustrates me no end about salespeople is not doing what they said they do.
Yeah.
That will never cease to frustrate me and amaze me and stun me. If you promise a new client you're going to do this for them, why would you not? Because that customer will leave.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
It's human nature, and that's what sales is. Once you understand human nature and how that's going to work, sales becomes much easier. But if you want to talk to a new personal trainer that's come to you, have a conversation with them. Find out what it is they're trying to fix, trying to get better at, and then answer that for them. Show them that you understand it and that you know what they need to do. That's how you do it.
I like that. Again, simple, nothing to work, nothing to.
I like it. What makes it easy for me.
Yeah, exactly. Simple. Get good at the simple things, and
the rest is easy. The thing is, if you get the basics right, do the simple stuff right and solid, the rest just falls into place.
Yeah.
Sales is as simple as that. Once you understand what's going on and you're rolling the whole thing, and you can really do that stuff well, the rest becomes easy and just falls into place. I remember when I did my first paid training session, I was nervous, on edge, thought, oh, good Lord, I'm going to make a mess of this, etc., etc., etc. Once I started talking, and you see their face and you think, this guy knows what he's talking about. You
Yeah.
relax, and off you go. And and I know you see me do a few of them. I've done speaking events and trained blah, blah amount of people in one go. I kid you not, even now, 20 years in, I still take a deep breath before I walk in the first time.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it 20 odd years.
Mm.
And allegedly, I know my stuff.
Yeah. So next question. When the customer says, I want a discount, how should I, so me being the person who's selling, how should I handle it? And should I have offered one before they even asked for one?
Okay, right. So in terms of offering a discount before they ask for it, no. Don't ever do that. Never, ever, ever do that. Never. In terms of if they ask for it, basically one thing's happened now. We've talked already about the perceived value and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If you have not given them enough perceived value, credibility, etc., in the way you've spoken and in your pitch you've delivered, that's why they're asking for a discount.
Okay.
Because you didn't make it feel, you didn't make them want it enough, didn't give enough perceived value.
Yeah.
So they're going, oh, yeah, I can have it. If I can get a discount, I'll have it.
Yeah.
That's not a solid sale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, don't get wrong. There are people out there who will ask for a discount regardless. I was. I'll tell you a quick story. When I first started in sort of freelancing and working for myself, I got told off by a management consultant because you're not charging enough. I mean, yeah, but I'm working.
Yeah.
So you've got to work every day. I don't care. I'm happy to work. I love what I do. I'm happy to work every day. But if you accept jobs at that level, that's where you'll always be.
Yeah.
And that was like, okay, that bit makes sense. And I kind of went, but did I mention I love what I do? He went, yes, you did do that, Stuart. And he said, do this. Next time, let's, for example, say it's £600 for a day's training.
Yeah.
Right? And you say, oh, it's £600. And the customer goes, oh, can you do it any cheaper? Have a discount, or whatever phrase it is. And you respond with, yeah, of course you can. What do you want me to leave out?
I like that.
And I, all joking aside, when I first did it, no word of a lie, Ryan, I had my fingers crossed on my back when I did it. So I thought the guys go, forget it then, you know. But yeah. It's £600 a day. Can I have a discount? Can I have it cheaper? Whatever phrase you want to use. Yes, you can. What do you want me to leave out?
Yeah.
So for me to provide the service, provide the product, whatever else it is, it's this amount of money. If you want it cheaper, that's not a problem. What do you want me to take out? Which bit don't you want? You know, if £600 a day gets you 1 through 10, you want 400, great, you get 1 through 6. Which bits don't you want to use? And it's that, and you have to be careful because it can sound a bit sort of arrogant almost if you're not careful. But it's, look, we've talked about what you want. I know that what we're going to do, what this is going to do, or this training, this product, this service is going to fix that for you, make it more efficient, more cost effective, whatever it is. That's what it's going to take to do that. And it's blah, blah amount of pounds. If you want it cheaper, you want a discount, I can do that for you, but I can't give you all the things we talked about.
Yeah.
So to relate it back to then the personal training thing, okay, you know, it's, I don't know, it's £400 a month and you get 8 sessions, 2 a week. Oh, can you do it? Can I have a discount? Do it cheaper? Yeah, of course you can. But that means only 1 session a week. And that's a very basic way to look at it, but that's what you're looking at.
Yeah.
So don't ever offer a discount unless it's been asked for. That's just silly. And if they ask for a discount, you've not sold them on it properly. Remember I said in every conversation, a sale always happens, like Ben Affleck says in Boardroom. A sale happens in every conversation. Either by you as salesman or by them as the client saying you why they don't want it.
Yeah.
So if they're saying I want a discount, you've not convinced them enough. If you think you have, then do that. Yes, of course you can have a discount. Which bit don't you want? Which bit of what I've offered you, I'm going to take out. To put it down to money you want to pay.
Yeah.
And it's a tough one to do until you get used to it. Because the first time I did it, fingers crossed my back thing. He said, no, I've lost it all, you know. Anyway, well, fair enough. You know, well, it
Yeah.
works, you know. But it is, and it's a lot of times in sales, it's about having the confidence to not answer back, but to respond.
Yeah.
I forget whose quote it is, but it's something along the lines of we listen to respond, not to take any information.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of sales will go wrong. Don't listen to give your answer. Don't know the answer is. Let them tell you what they're after. The thing is, if you let the client talk, you'll find out all sorts of stuff. Some stuff you don't need, some stuff you will. I joked before, and forgive me for this one. I was talking about some guys on the phone. I said, look, you need to, it's steps 1 to 10. If he comes up at step 6 and tells you about his celebrity toenail clipping collection, I have no idea where that came from. You know, then so be it. I know, I don't know where it came from. Right? I've used it a lot since, but the first time I'm just obscurity, you know, just complete obscurity that came from, and I don't know why. But you know, let them, and then go back to it. Oh, we didn't know that. Anyway, as I was saying, and I'll just be happy, but be able to bring it back to where you wanted it, where you left off. Otherwise, it goes off at 2 tangents, and the conversation is finished, and you didn't get a sale, and you think, what happened there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So have to control that conversation, but allow the conversation. And I know I keep saying it. This is all about having a conversation. It's the bottom line, man. Yeah. Whether it's about discounts or your one-to-one or whatever else it is, or a personal trainer selling widgets, doesn't matter. Have a conversation. Listen to your client. There's an old 80s phrase: is we have one mouth, 2 ears. Use them to that ratio. Still works now. Might be a cheesy old comment, but it still works. As a salesman, you should listen twice as much as you talk.
Yeah.
You don't know their business, they do. So listen to what they say, take it in, think about what benefits you've got, match their needs, and that's your conversation. So no, don't ever offer a discount unless they ask for it. And if they do, think about why they did and work around it. The thing is, if you have the confidence in yourself and your product, that's easy. And it doesn't come across arrogant. You trust your product, you trust yourself. That's the conversation.
Yeah.
It's about, you know, you might win the battle, you won't win the war, and that's very true. Don't be a smart what's it about it. Just be able to have enough confidence in yourself and your ability and your product or your service that you can have that conversation. And you're right, you can stand your ground. And then you'll be fine. Yeah. It's easy.
Yeah.
I told you, mate, sales is easy. Once you understand it, dead easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine.
I have several clients who might argue that at the moment, but you know, they'll get there.
Yeah, just a bit. Probably quite a few people who would watch this and think, yeah, I'm not too sure about that. But again, it's
well, then to phone me and I'll show them how.
I like that. Bit of a shameless plug.
Hey, I'm a sales trainer. What do you expect?
Yeah.
But you know, it's lots of people will cringe at the word sales if they run a business. They don't want to have to do it. But actually, once you understand that, so go back to the book you talked about, the first one, that can't sell, won't sell. The can't sell teaches you the technicalities. So about open and closed questions, features and benefits, object landing, all that kind of stuff. The won't sell gives us a psychological part. So for example, if you ask a closed question too soon, your pitch is over.
Yeah.
So once you learn those things, it becomes a lot easier. And it's about understanding human nature and knowing how people think and knowing how they want and how they can be persuaded, if you like.
Yeah.
When you have that conversation. And that's the stuff that I teach people. Be it experienced, been in it 20 years, salespeople, or people are new to it. The same principles are the same. It's get it right, know the basics, build on it.
Final question. Now, this is from a good friend of both of ours. This isn't a
that narrows it down, yeah.
Yeah, it isn't a sales question per se.
Okay.
It says, Stuart, I know you're a big Bristol Flyers fan. The Bristol Flyers is a basketball team.
It is. No, it's the basketball team.
Okay, it's the basketball team. He actually said in brackets, poor you. He said,
okay, we're not having the best of seasons, but okay.
Yeah. He said, what is your favorite NBA team?
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if I have an exact favorite because I mean, I used to be a big Hornets fan. They were always great a few years ago. Pugsy Mogs was one of the shortest ever point guards you'd ever see. Brilliant ball handler. Miami Heat were great when Shaq was playing for them. Lakers have always been good. There are some big names. LeBron, Magic. I mean, that's a heck of a who's who on that team, you know?
Yeah.
My boy would say the Bulls, because he's a big Bulls fan. So yeah, I don't know that I have a particular NBA favorite. I'm a Flyers fan, I'm going to tell you. We don't play in the NBA, so yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a big step.
It's BBL around here, but yeah. Yeah, I love it, American basketball, but it's great. My son and I go to the Flyers games all the time, missing those. And it's a great night out. Forgive me, it's a cheap night out. Sorry, chaps. And I remember we February 2019, which is just before his birthday, and there was a double overtime game. It was the place. There was like 300 people. The place was erupting. It was crazy.
Yeah. The closer. I mean, I watch NBA a lot, and the closer the games are, the better they are.
Absolutely.
To
be fair, a couple of weeks ago, Flyers had a game. They were 24 points down at one point. By the end of the game, they lost by 1 point.
Ooh,
so we can bring it back. We can bring it back.
Yeah. Just not win.
What? We're not having the best of seasons, Ryan. That's Ben, because we both know it's Ben. Ben's only brought that question because he's scared to get in the court with me. That's why. we both played quite a bit in our younger days. He talked a lot about it, but he ain't got a court with me yet. So you know.
No, I think that's the next thing. I think we should both get you on the court, and I should video it. I think that's the next thing. So yeah. Ben, when you watch this, that's the
challenge down. There we go.
No. Stuart, for those who want to contact you or find you, where can they find you? And obviously, in the description below, on I will have all your contact details there anyway. Obviously, some not all. But if you could say where you can be found, and it'd be great.
Of course, the easiest place to find me is on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I don't really use many of the other social media platforms because that becomes like hard work then. So LinkedIn is the easiest one. I pay attention to that. I'm on that. That's where I do most of my stuff. In fact, if I'm honest, probably at least half the work I get comes from LinkedIn. It's like my second website, if you like, you know. So yeah, LinkedIn is the easiest place to find me.
Well, thank you very much for coming on. Really do appreciate it, and definitely have you on again. Because it's a lot of very insightful, simple but insightful methods to use that I think people have just forgotten.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, no, thank you so much for coming on, Stuart.
No, my pleasure, mate. Enjoyed it. Happy to do it again.